Hello and welcome to this week's Scribbles update, and we're going to kick it off by looking at our first story, which we're talking about Ubisoft. So Ubisoft, I'm a little bit torn about this story. They have had real problems with their last four big releases, which were Avatar: Frontier of Pandora, Star Wars Outlaws, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, and Skull and Bones. They all underperformed and haven't been making much money, to the point where they could potentially be in some trouble. Now, I don't think it's going to be that they're going out of business, because Ubisoft's quite a massive company, but they are a load of smaller dev teams in a big company. So it could be that some of these teams could be in danger, or I think rather than teams, they're actually like companies that are held within the big company of Ubisoft. I think that's how it works. And there was even a news article recently that said that they are looking into potential buyouts or selling properties. And there's nothing that's been confirmed about it. There's just like whispers on the wind sort of thing, you know. But there was another news item in January where there was a buyout deal from Tencent, which fell through. And the reason it fell through is the Guillemot, I think is how you say it, brothers, who currently own Ubisoft, wanted or insisted on retaining control of the company after selling it, which I'm not an expert. That seems like that's not how you sell a company. Like, once you've sold it, you don't really get to still run it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Maybe selling part of it is what they were trying to do, and still wanted to control the majority, but whatever it was, it didn't work. So they obviously have tried stuff like that already. So it might be that they could be in some trouble and be looking to sell. I mean, you would think that maybe one of the big dogs like Sony or Microsoft might be sniffing around, to be fair, because they've got some big properties in their catalog. But looking at their last four games, which have underperformed, just because they've underperformed, I wouldn't say that they're bad games. So if you look at Avatar: Frontier of Pandora, it was a beautiful game. It was fun. It was really well received. It just didn't sell that well. It wasn't something that people really wanted to do. It had the same formula as like all the Far Cry games as well. So you have that thing where there's loads to do, almost too much. Then you've got like loads of points on the map you have to go unlock and explore and stuff. And in the same vein, they then had Star Wars Outlaws, which was exactly the same. Like, fun game. I think it was beautiful. I played it through on this channel. Absolutely loved it. I really enjoyed Star Wars Outlaws. I think it was probably one of the best Star Wars games I've played recently. And it got lots of backlash for all stupid things, you know, that most games do nowadays. And it just didn't sell that well. Again, Prince of Persia, I'm not a huge fan of the IP. I've not played it that much when I was younger and that. But from what I've seen of the graphics, the trailers, and like the feedback from actual fans, it's a great game, but it hasn't sold that well. So it's almost like what's happened is they have started to sort out their problems of making better games, but it's too late. People don't trust Ubisoft games, and so they're just not buying them because they don't want to buy a £70, £80 like heap of garbage. Do you know what I mean? And it's not anymore. It's not a heap of garbage. Like, you have to enjoy those games. You have to enjoy those properties to properly enjoy it. So yeah, maybe some people will buy it and be like, yeah, this is a heap of garbage. But for the majority, like, there's a lot of people who love these games and think that they're really good. So it's almost a shame that they've taken this long to sort themselves out, and it's too late maybe. And potentially a buyout and an update on who's running it and how they run things might make that mean that they're more viable to like other people in the market. They're like, oh, you know what? They might be different now. Let's give them a chance. I think what probably hasn't helped as well is the pricing that they use. Like most games are overpriced now, I think. But then you've got the problem of millions, hundreds of millions being put into development. So you can't just say the games have to stay at 20 quid because then they'll never make any money, will they? But going up to £100 for a single game, £120 for a game, whatever, it just seems like you're stretching it a bit too thin. And it's that like the cost of a game now means that less people are able to think, I'm going to pop down to the shops and pick up a game, or I'm going to pop online and pick up this game for this month because I've heard it's really good. You now have to really think, like a lot of people don't have as much disposable income. We're in like recessions and all like cost of living crisis and everything. So people don't have the disposable income to say like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to spaff £100 away on a game. So I think you're also struggling with that problem. And I think you also look at things like Helldivers 2, Football Manager. There's other games which I'm trying to think of top of my head, but those are the two which come to mind. They keep a low price point and they have sold very well and they make a profit. So Helldivers 2 and Football Manager probably have a lower amount of money they have to make to break even, but still the concept is still the same. Like they're not gouging their audience and they get a loyal audience that returns. So it's one of those things where I think that they've kind of made this problem for themselves, but they've also potentially tried to fix it too late. So that these games which are good, you could probably pick up in a sale somewhere. And then there's Skull and Bones, which I've heard is terrible. It doesn't appeal to me because it's like the whole story about the development hell and the fact that they've taken like I love the Black Flag boat sims stuff that you could do, and they've taken that and just completely gutted it of what made it amazing. So I'm really not. Maybe if it was like £5, for sale, I would pick it up and just give it a go. But I'm not overly like jumping for it. And I think that's probably one of the things which they're dealing with. Bad press on all of their games means that some people just not want to buy it, which means you're missing out on money coming in. So that's what's happening with their last games. But let's not forget, they have a big game coming out. The next Assassin's Creed Shadows, comes out I think in March. So it's next month, very soon. And hopefully it will still happen. With all this, are they going to do a buyout or whatever? I'm sure it will still happen. But they have already delayed it. They were supposed to publish it or put it out to everyone last year. And they did a very last minute with going to have to put it back. And so a lot of people are very disappointed in that. And a lot of people cancelled pre-orders and things like that because of the having to push it back. A lot of faith was lost in that game. I think it looks really interesting. I like the idea of it. I am not a huge Assassin's Creed fan, so I don't think I'm going to be one of those people who gets it day one and plays it. Unless there's something like, because there's a bit of co-op, me and my mates might want to play it together. That might push me to the point of like, oh yeah, I'll get it. I'll spend the full amount on it, because that means I can play it with my mates and it'll be really fun. Or I'll get the Ubisoft, the subscription. So I don't know. It's one of those ones where it's also had controversy and a lot of people saying they're not going to buy it. So I don't think this is going to be the saving grace that Ubisoft need. So I think in the mid 2025, after a month or two of Assassin's Creed Shadows being out, we're going to see some more news on Ubisoft, and I don't know if it's going to be good. So it's a little bit worrying because I do like Ubisoft games and they have some great properties. So I hope that the properties don't go away into the abyss. Do you know what I mean? I want them to those properties still be made. Maybe just sold off to different companies or a big sale to, I don't know, Microsoft or Sony. But then that comes with its own problems, doesn't it? Because Microsoft and Sony haven't been great with some some companies that they've brought. So it might be worse than before if they end up doing something like that. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. If you like Ubisoft games, if you like that formulaic approach that they use, if you have picked up any of their most recent games and really enjoy them, or if you're really looking forward to Assassin's Creed Shadows, or you're not so sure, just let me know what you think in the comments. It'd be really good to hear like other people's opinions. If you're a fan of Borderlands, you might have picked up the Tiny Tina's Wonderland game, which came out a little while ago. It was years ago. But it's based on like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's in the Borderlands world. And it's got really good reception. Like everyone has seemed to really enjoy it. It's a bit different from the Borderlands games themselves, but it is a fun game nonetheless. Do you know what I mean? And it still has the very bones of what makes Borderlands great. But there is a collectible trading card company called Upper Deck, and they are making a physical card game for the Tiny Tina Wonderland like world or game. It looks really interesting. I didn't really know who Upper Deck were, but apparently they're a global entertainment company creating trading cards, memorabilia, collectibles, games, and online platforms that deliver experiences collectors crave. So that's who they are. But this new game is going to be called Tiny Tina's Wonderland, The Chaos Chamber. And it's going to have characters from Tiny Tina's Wonderland, such as Paladin Mike, Dragon Lord, and Waystard. And they're going to have like a hunt. So basically, what you've got is you've got 108 cards, 4 custom 20-sided dice, and each player chooses a class and then enters the Chaos Chamber. And then using and I'm going to quote here, strategic trick-taking combat system, players can blast, slash, and cast their way through hordes of enemies. And then you gain legendary loot and victory points. So it sounds like a kind of interesting concept, like something which isn't like the usual, let's just make another video game out of it, let's chuck a card game on. It's an actual physical. I like the idea that you can it's a physical card game, you can actually have the cards and that. But there's not a lot about it. There's no like images of like what the card game itself will look like, or more of the rules other than what I've just read. So it's coming out in spring 2025, which isn't too far away. So we'll see it soon, and it's $30. They only have it in dollars, so I'm not sure what that means in pounds because I'm British. That's probably. But the thing is that you can convert the $30, but they don't usually charge the conversion, so it might just be 30 quid for us as well, or it might be 25, I suppose. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's something which looks interesting and could be a really fun like addition to the Borderlands world. Where you can just play it without having to look at a screen and stuff. Because sometimes it can hurt your eyes looking at a screen for too long. So it's nice to play something outside of that world. Get your sails floofing and your salty sea dogs. Because Sea of Thieves Season 15 comes out, or is out now. It was out on the 20th of February. And it's going live with a load of updates, and they're updates which I kind of like the look of. And I'll just say, Sea of Thieves is a game that I have not played for a fair amount of time. I think I haven't played it since like mid 2024, so like 6-8 months since I've last played it. And when I did play it, I didn't play it for a lot, but when it first came out, I played it loads. I really loved the vibe of Sea of Thieves. I loved just sailing around, and one of my favorite things was fishing. I love fishing in games, and I love just going around fishing up the different fish and stuff like that. So the updates that's coming out or is out this month there's 2 new megalodons. One which is a fire megalodon and will explode after charging up its body, and it will set your ship on fire, which looks insane and terrifying at the same time. And the other has like armor plates made out of coral all over it, and then when it like attacks you, it has like an electric charge up, and it will spawn these ocean things. I think they're called ocean crawlers, but they're like soldiers with like electricity abilities and stuff. They'll spawn on your ship and you'll have to fight them off. So 2 really cool concepts that will like freshen up the Megalodon like thing. You definitely go out hunting for them a bit more now. Then there's also the you can now do Hunter's Call Emissary. So you can do raid voyages on behalf of them. And you can get specific loot for them. And I've always loved the hunter stuff, so that really interests me. There's new rewards coming out for the Hunter's Call Emissary as well. There's voyages, new voyages as well, even for the Hunter's Call, which sends you on fishing trips. So I probably will spend all of my time doing voyages in Hunter's Call, doing the fishing trips, because that is my jam. I'm hoping my friends will be interested in doing that as well, so I can do it as a group. Because if I do it on my own on a little like lonely scoop, I don't know if I'm going to last that long. But I do love a little bit of fishing. And then later in the season, so it's not coming out on the 20th, and they haven't given us a date when it is coming out yet. But they're going to be adding wild boars, where there's like an area where wild boars spawn on an island, and there's treasure, but they're like kind of guarding it. It's like their little hoard, and you hunt them using like different like weaponry, which actually they've added a throwable spear, which will probably come out when you can hunt the boars, because you can then use them against the boars. So that looks really interesting. And also one thing which they've added, which doesn't add any like kind of content necessarily, but they've added ambient wildlife, which for me personally, I always thought that Sea of Thieves world was great, but a little bit empty. So what they've done is they've added like animals just around, like in the oceans, on the islands, in the in like the areas, like the village areas that you can go to. Like that is such a cool thing. Like it will be really small and some people won't care, but I do honestly think that that's such a cool thing to add, because it does make the world feel so much more lived in and real, even though it's like very cartoonized now. Just having creatures roaming around and that, it's a cool idea. And then they've got also the, as you would expect, a season pass and a plunder pass. And then with all of the new Hunter's Calls, you've got new commendations and milestones with rewards as well. So there's stuff that you can pay for in there if you want to, but it's mostly a free to play game now, I think, unless you're playing it on PC and don't have Game Pass and stuff like that. So the cost of it, I don't hate. They're on season 15. Come on, they're giving us content year after year. Let's give them a little bit of money back if you can. Do you know what I mean? If you enjoy the game that much, I think that this is where you can support a company. And it's kind of like almost funny the opposite of Ubisoft, where people are willing to pay because they've got such a good reputation with this game, like being good. So and willing to pay for like 2 passes maybe, because it means that they get stuff for themselves and they also get to support the company. So, but let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people are actually just a bit sick of it and they see that and they think, no, I'm done with it. So let me know what you think about the whole season pass thing, especially for free games, because they're free. They need to make money somehow. But is it too much? Is there cosmetics which you think, come on now, this is going crazy? But yeah, so really excited about that. Sea of Thieves Season 15 is something which I'll be checking out, hopefully with my crew. If not, I'll be on my own with a fishing, with my little fishing stick going, what's going on? Fishing rod even, fishing stick. Next thing is, on the same day as the Sea of Thieves update comes out, there's a Call of Duty update for Black Ops 6, and it's all based on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, with playable operators, themed grind ooze map, zombies events, turtle power mosh pit, an event pass packed with earnable cosmetics. So COD has become a little bit like stale, I'm gonna say. I don't think that it's been doing as well as it was, say, a year ago. A lot of, if you look on like Twitch views and stuff like that, a lot of people have just like stopped watching it. Warzone's gone basically dead. Black Ops 6 multiplayer is not half as well stocked with players as it used to be. So this is obviously something which they're trying to get people back within an event, just try and get interest back, I suppose, because the season 3 doesn't happen for ages apparently. So this is kind of like a mid-season event. You got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who are a loved sort of like thing, aren't they? And people love the TMNT. And so what actually is in this this update? You've got multiplayer. You've got 2 new 6v6 maps. Grind Ooze, which is a remaster of Black Ops 2 skate park map, decked out in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle decor. And the other one is an all-new map, so not a remastered one, named Bullet. Close quarters arena set on a high-speed bullet train. Sounds awesome. Quite like that idea. And weapons, they've got new weapons, adding the D1.3 sector, a saw blade launching sidearm, and several TMNT themed ninja melee weapons. And also half shells, so you could pop a shell on your back as well. So the multiplayer is getting quite a lot of love. Then zombies, you're getting a 2 map which receives a guided directed mode, which I'm not really sure what that means. I haven't played loads of zombies. It will receive one of several new events called Cowabunga Cranked, which sounds cool, but have no idea what it means. The themed mode will have players scrambling to kill zombies before their timer hits 0. Oh, so it's basically a timed complete the round sort of thing. The other events are the Turtle Power limited time mosh pit mode, and the St. Patrick's Day themed Clover Craze event, which will begin on March 13th. So they've packing plenty into this update. Is it enough to get people back? I don't know. I don't know if Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a big enough franchise to make people... There will be definitely be a group of people who will love it. I don't know if it's enough for them to gain back the numbers like before. Don't get me wrong, I think it'll be fun, but I don't think it'll be enough to pull in the masses sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see, but let me know what you think. I think it'll be a fun one, but probably not a game changer. But yeah, it's something that at least they're doing something, and it's not going to cost any money. Like that's the big thing. If COD was really panicking, they'd be charging a tenner for you to even access this content or something, and everyone would have to pay it. So that's at least a positive from this. But let me know if you've dropped off from COD. Let me know if you've still been playing and actually it's been great and you've been enjoying it, or if you've noticed the drop off. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. And this is a little bit of nice news, like a kind of a happy story, and that's that Bethesda obviously got loads of great games, all the Elder Scrolls games, all of like the Starfields and the Fallouts and that, and they've recently teamed up with Make-A-Wish, and they've put so Make-A-Wish have like a a silent auction where you can bid for things, and all of the proceeds of that will go to Make-A-Wish to help them obviously help people with fatal diseases and stuff like that, to be able to enjoy themselves for a brief moment and forget about the problems that they've got in their life. And so it's like a really nice like idea. And Bethesda have offered the ability for one person to make a NPC or non-playable character within their new game that's coming out, Elder Scrolls 6, which, as a lot of people are aware, the hype over Elder Scrolls 6 is huge. There's a lot of people who are really excited about it coming out. We don't even know when it's going to come out. Like, definitely not this year, but at some point in the far off future. I would be surprised if it's not next year as well. It's probably 27, 28, 29 even maybe. Like, we've got time to wait, for goodness sake. But when it does come out, there's going to be this NPC which someone will have created, and they will be in the game. And that, I think, is a really cool concept for being able to help a charity and being able to give something to your player base that's fun and interesting. And it's just, yeah, I saw it and thought, yeah, I love that. That's such a great idea. So it's on this like silent auction website. It started at $1,000. And when I last checked, it was up to 15k, but I'm sure it's gone to more. So they're going to make loads of money, hopefully, with this, which will be able to fund plenty of wishes for sick children. And that's a great thing as well, isn't it? So you can also feel good about that happening. I don't think I've seen a lot of something like this happening before. So I'd love to know, like, if anyone else has seen much of this and what they think, if they enjoy this, if they think that it's a little bit performative or something, if they don't like it. But yeah, overall, I'm all for it, and I think that's a great idea, and it's a really nice kind of bit of happy news to hear, isn't it? And that's all from me for this week's Scribbles update. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and this has been an informative update. I'm still playing around with what I want to do with this, but I think that it's kind of it's something which I don't mind messing around with. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, let me know what you think, if there's anything you think should be changed with what this is. And thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you when I see you.